Okay. And we should be live again. Hello YouTube. Today we are here with Shimon again. Today I'm the streaming person. We will do some reviews. We will do some thinking, I guess, again about the parsers.
Yeah, finally we're streaming together because recently we are streams separately. Now finally we can sum up our work together.
Yep. Basically today is the day for the summary. 1 second, I have to fight with the cat. I have to copy the links. I have to do everything now. Okay. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. We have two pull requests, which one is a larger one, which will be, which has some of the changes were split into
all the changes. Yes,
well, the
from
9
the people yeah.
So the 9 has all the changes, and the 8 is just part of the changes. So we will do the review of the first one. I don't know why is this failing me today. I'm clicking and it's not loading. Okay. Right, so I made some comments 2 days ago, but apparently Shimon told me that I need to submit them, which what I done just now. So I imagine that I didn't need to do anything, but apparently I did. So I've done some comments about the naming. I would remove the branding from the code itself. We don't really need to push this so hard, so I would remove the company name from the objects. I think this is redundant.
Okay, I thought maybe we would emphasize that it's not just SAGA, it's our SAGA, I mean Prognetic SAGA, and it would be maybe better to emphasize it. But if you, I think that just write the services.add SAGA is sufficient. I can change it, of course.
Yeah, I would, because the namespaces are fine because the library itself is called prognetics.saga, right? But we can say that this is you are repeating this basically, right?
Okay. Maybe it's because sometimes the extensions like add SQL Server and there is a name that emphasizes what technologies, maybe not the company, yeah, right? But you have something like you know what what is it exactly. And I thought like maybe it's a good direction, but of course it's not the same situation as I mentioned. So uh, yeah, Saga is more elegant, let's say. So I can change it, of course.
Okay,
It's
thank you.
just a name.
Yeah, let's keep it short.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same as above.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yep. Background service. Yeah, I had one comment in the.
Uh-huh.
Do we
And
need to
it's
assign the nulls after the dispose? After you call dispose? Why are you doing this?
okay. It's because the Saga background service is the background service. I mean, this hosted service implementation, and this is the singleton, and it can be somehow restarted, as I know, and I think that we want to, if we want to restart Saga background service, and this is the singleton, we need to, clear everything to start it again, and that's why I'm the those. Um, fields, because in the execute async I check scope, is it null. If it's null, then you want to start the service is already started. So it means that we won't only execute once this instance, but if it's null, it's probably stopped. So then you can start this service.
Mm-hmm.
It's very related to this framework, the dependency, maybe not dependency injection, but this hosting framework of the ASP.NET Core. So yeah, I thought maybe it's the right direction. Maybe you have more knowledge about this framework, and you see the better way of implementing this. Mm-hmm.
Just to be clear, which one is the single? Which one would you like to make the singleton? The background service or?
Saga background service is the background service, as you can see. It's the abstract
So which
class.
one is
And
supposed to be singleton?
It will be the Saga background service. So that's why we get service provider to create a scope, and we are creating the scope with the host and some other stuff inside.
Of course, because you would like this background service to be run only once.
Yes, and this is the hosted service. Yes, it's strictly related to this concept. And that's why it's in another.
This is registered somewhere.
Project, because it's the dependency injection project. Yeah. Because this project is referenced, not is referenced, reference the Saga Microsoft extensions. This hosting and extensions, dependency injection, and just Prognetic Saga Orchestrator is without referencing anything. It's just our library.
Okay.
So we can create orchestrator without the dependency injection.
I'm just thinking about, because I don't feel like I really understand this. So you are putting, because what we started to talk about is why you're nulling those fields here after the dispose. So once again, could you explain to me why those need to be nulled?
Because if we stop the background service, then dispose will be invoked.
Yes.
And we can null and dispose those fields. So
but what happens if we don't do this line? If we don't assign those nulls here?
Then host will be in the memory because it's referenced by SAGA background service, but it's stopped. Yeah. But this is the singleton, so it's probably not still in the memory. That's the understanding of my understanding of SAGA, this background service. Maybe.
Wait, one second. Just let me think about this.
Okay.
What you said, because calling dispose on this should also, like, for example, I also believe that you should also call here base.dispose. In the end, this will be killed. So maybe, yes, cancel, because this should probably, it's here. Okay, base dispose. So you are doing this.
Okay.
So it won't be kept in the memory, because it will be marked for pickup for the garbage collector with the dispose. So okay, you're disposing all of these. You're calling the disposes on this. As I checked in the host also has dispose, which is disposing the clients, and it's disposing the orchestrator. So you're doing all the chaining here with the disposes, but I honestly feel like this is obsolete. That if this is the only reference made to
I mean, are you sure that SAGA background service is marked as to collect by the garbage collector? I mean, because because maybe, but this is the singleton in our service collection. Maybe I should dive into the more into the implementation of ad-hosted service. Let me check.
Let's check it.
If you have open the Visual Studio, you can show it on the stream. Okay, I see you don't.
Yes.
Okay, so I will go to the extension and go to the hosted service. Hosted service as service descriptor singleton I hosted service. So it's okay, so I can see that this hosted service is registered as singleton.
Yeah, I think we are actually looking at literally the same Stack Overflow.
No, I'm looking at the source of service collection.
Okay.
So what about this Stack Overflow?
But then, still, because I see that you would like to play around with the memory. I would say then again that even if it is singleton and you remove the null and you just call the disposes, it will be marked for removal.
Yeah,
and
but
then
if
it
singleton,
restarts, you are saying that it will have the scope if it's not nulled. Okay.
Okay, but if someone will maybe execute async one time, I mean while it's started, then it's more safe because you have you are sure that this will not be invoked 2 times. Only 1 time, because you check that this is null. Okay, so it's stopped. So or maybe it was.
I wouldn't declare that if something is not null, then we are sure that this is running. Are we? Because I feel like. I feel like
if we are not. Okay. Sorry, continue.
I feel like this is not, not a way to validate if something is running, basically. If you know what I mean. To check if something is null.
Yeah, something was disposed and then null, so we are sure that it was disposed in the dispose. That the null means that we dispose this. Okay, we can change it to the oh my god, is started, for example.
I am,
and
we are discussing different things now, because now I'm also connecting this with that, right? And I'm saying that okay, you are, as you said, you're assigning those nulls, because then if it restarts, you would like to check if it's in here, if it's null, and if it's not null, then you think that this is running, so you throw the exception. And what I just said is that I wouldn't check if something is running by checking if something else is null. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I would think about figuring out if something is running in a different way.
Okay. So you want, for example, you just want to have a flag, like is started?
Maybe.
Or something like that?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe something like that. I don't know. I know that because look what it does. Right? Now, you wrote this code and you had to explain to me why you're doing it. So what it makes is that it's not self-explanatory. By reading this code, I don't really understand that, okay, he is checking if it's null because he will know later on that this is running. Okay, I can see this exception here that is being thrown. But in the end, what this is adding, this is extra complexity in the code, right?
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, so I think the best solution for it will be remove this null assigning and implement override stop async, because we can do this. There we can set the flag is started to false. And
are you 100% sure that this will be a singleton, that this background service.
If correctly registered in the service collection by using the method add-hosted service, yes, it will be singleton.
So this is what you are doing here.
Yeah, add-hosted service, SAGA background service.
But the service, when it stops, it doesn't restart itself, does it? Or I don't really remember. It was some time I did it, but there are those methods, as you said, that can be overridden. That control the lifetime, basically, or not. I wanted to say flow, but basically controls what happens with this, and is there a restart method for the host's background service? No.
No, there are only two methods. I mean three because this post also, but yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll write a comment then or this. Can we figure out a different way of knowing if this service is running or not? Because so does it even does it even make sense? Is it possible that it will be started twice then?
Sorry, can you say again?
Is it possible that it will be started twice?
Yeah, if you get the SAGA background service and the program, results from the services and invoke this method, then you could execute this twice. But yeah, I mean, it's possible that, and that's why I'm prepared for this case.
But in the end, someone would need to add prognetic SAGA, basically. They would need to call this method twice. Or not.
If someone called 2 times prognetic SAGA, then it will be 2 hosted service. So, because it will be collection of a hosted service. I mean, it's in the background.
I'm honestly, I will tell you that I'm honestly not sure. I didn't test this. I never had such an idea to run the same service twice. But what if we would like copy paste this line twice? Would we have 2 instances? I'm not sure we would. Like, you're not double registering objects.
Yeah, if we double register the service, then we will have the enumerable service. So I think it's possible, and it's like if you go to the add hosted service implementation, then you will
Can you send it over? On what you're looking at?
Okay, I will show you one moment. Okay. Send you the image of the implementation to the Slack.
Yeah, because you're looking at it on the Visual Studio.
Yeah. Oh, yes, something.
And what defines that this is a singleton? You mean the triad?
Yes, try at enumerable, and you have service descriptor dot singleton. I hosted service, the hosted service. So we're creating the.
Where do
I
you see
mean,
the
region
service descriptor?
dot singleton. I mean,
Okay, I see. Mm-hmm.
and this is enumerable because we can have the multiple hosted services. So maybe we don't register if it's the same object or the same implementation, but I'm not sure about this. I mean, maybe it has validation that we have two the same, descriptors. I mean, the same interface and the same implementation, but I can check it after the stream maybe. So let's just write it down. I mean, write in the comment that consider the situation when we register two times.
I'm just figuring out then. Then the dispose will. I would then figure out only about. I will leave a comment. Can we research how this may be restarted? Okay.
Okay.
Because
checked this maybe not so deeply, so I will check once again. But it was like you can stop it and start it once again. And background service actually has 3 methods.
Yeah.
Start async, stop async, and execute async. And this execute async has the exact logic of the.
Yeah, I've used it, but like I think 3 years ago. So
Okay.
I don't necessarily
I'll
remember everything. But then
check it again.
Then what it means is that as you correctly figure out, this will be a singleton, so it will be registered only once, and it will be a single object. And because of that, they added all those control methods, so you're able to start, stop, dispose, etc. I think that the dispose will be called only when the program is closing.
Dispose is invoked in 5 seconds after stop async method. I mean, in 5 seconds. I mean, within 5 seconds will be invoked. I read about this that dispose is
okay, but
invoked.
if the background service is stopping, it's called graceful stop. If it's stopped gracefully, then in ideal scenario it's only stopping when the service is shutting down.
service, you mean this background service?
The background service, yeah. I mean, that's the only scenario where when there is stop or dispose call. Is it not?
Yeah, if we stop the service, yes, if we then shut down the service, then stop and the dispose will be involved. But if we start it again,
yeah, but that's what I mean. That's exactly.
It will be the same instance, I think.
But that's exactly what I'm going at. There will be in the end there might be no restart. You get my point?
Okay,
because
so
it
I understand.
When the dispose is being called, you're shutting down the whole application. It's the only moment that this might be called. This may be called. I think so. That in the regular scenario, the only way when the dispose is called on the background service will be when it performs a graceful stop, and the graceful stop will be when the application is shutting down, I think.
Okay. Okay, so I'll explore this topic. I mean, I thought maybe restart will be the good solution for example, if we want to update the SAGA model from our JSON files. And then the restart will be perfect. We build new model and we start the new orchestrator with the updated model.
I wouldn't make this decision right now.
Yeah,
because
I know.
I honestly haven't thought about how to refresh the new model yet, so I wouldn't make I wouldn't future-proof for this.
Okay, so
I would make it probably from the top of my head. I would do this somehow differently. I wouldn't restart the whole service because something has changed.
Okay, so okay.
But let's leave it.
Let's leave it. Let's explore the topic.
Let's think about
this.
Let's think about how to manage this and yeah. Nothing to add in the tests, honestly.
Yeah. In this test, I'm just testing the SAGA orchestrator factory. I'm building the sources and checking if the model is good built. Built, and yeah, I test some cases, different count of transaction and steps.
I was thinking again after or over the payload and compensation being objects.
And it's kind of hard to serialize and deserialize partially the object. I mean, in JSON. Maybe you can use a JSON element and use the string, and that's the different way.
I think I would go just with a plain strings. I wouldn't use objects because it will be.
Okay,
we need to somehow serialize. We need to somehow serialize for the. We need to serialize for the transport. Let's say.
Yeah, but we just. I know, but then you have to force the client to serialize it to the string.
The client, you mean?
Or maybe our library. I mean, was the piece of code that will send the messages to the queue.
Yes, we would need to do that.
Okay. So we want to first to have a string payload and string compensation. Okay.
I'm just thinking out loud here because like I'm just thinking from how I would implement it in inside the communication from different apps. So I would imagine that I have some kind of payload to send, and on the client app, let's say, or on the app one, I would send a message with the transaction ID, and I would serialize the payload into the JSON.
And then
because it needs to be serialized somehow. I mean, can we transfer object? Can we even transfer objects somehow through the queue?
I mean, messages will be serialized to the JSON, but we want to deserialize this message to get the transaction ID.
Okay, so you want
But we don't want to have the payload and compensate because we don't want to deserialize it because for what? And that's because and this may. I mean,
but if we want to, if we will serialize the whole message, everything, then we will also need to deserialize it.
I mean, we can in the payload instead of string we can the object we can pass the JSON element, and it has definition probably of the JSON, but it's not exact object. Object is the most flexible because you can always place.
But what I mean is that we don't care on the orchestrator, right? We don't care about the payload or the we do care about the compensation.
Yeah, about payload we care,
we don't care about this because this is just being passed to the next step.
Yes, to the next step, but compensation will be stored.
Yes, this needs to be stored, and we need to read this. I mean, we need to know the transaction ID, and we need to potentially know the compensation. We don't need to understand the payload.
Maybe we need save the compensation and just send this in the same way in the error message or something like that. Maybe we can. No.
This will need to be replaced in the end. This won't be an object, I think. This will be a strong type of some kind. The compensation it needs to be structured somehow.
Interface that will provide the just serialization or something like that that you can save it into the store and the serial. In the string. Okay. Yeah. So compensation should be probably the strong option, but I think it will be the case when we will create the Saga store, and then we can just then implement the compensation transformation to the right.
Yeah, I just pointed it out. I don't necessarily mean it that we need to do it now, because in the end this is just a placeholder. I'm rather thinking about, because again because we drifted away a bit, and what we started with is, again, do we want to have the objects here, and so what I understood from what you were saying, you said that the whole object, basically, before sending to queue, would be serialized to JSON. Right?
I mean, this input message will be sent from our client to the queue. We will receive this.
Yeah.
And this will be deserialized in RabbitMQ plugin and to the input message structure. And then we have transaction ID, payload, and compensation.
Yeah,
and
what I'm trying to say now is, do we need to, because what I thought is that we need to replace the object with the string, because I thought that this will not be serialized entirely, but we will serialize. We won't make something like JSON serialize, and we won't make payload. Just we will make a new input message, right? And this later on, maybe not to make and we will make something like
yes,
something like that,
if
right?
we send to the queue client, then it's probably output message, but that's okay.
But what I'm saying now on the orchestrator, we are potentially listener, which is in the hosted service, has some handle, and the event would have something like the serialize equals JSON dot serialize message, something like that, right?
Yes,
more or less.
This will be deserialized to the input message. Yeah.
Yes. So we
generic argument.
Yeah, and so we don't need to have a string here. Okay, so
yeah. I mean, it will not be deserialized then if we want to have string payload. Because if we put the string payload,
you're right.
You understand.
But we don't. Yes, but we don't really. It doesn't really matter, because on the orchestra, we won't access this at any point in the orchestrator. We don't need to access any fields of this object or this one. So
yes.
Okay. It's good. I'm resolving this. It's fine. Just out of curiosity, why are you using record, not a class?
Because it's class. It's class, but with the equals and get hash code methods generated by the compiler, and
so this is something new, or not?
So you, yeah. It's if you want to see what will be generated, then go to the Sharp Lab.
Sharp Lab.
Yes, here, and just create such record here. And output, as you can see, it has
Oh my god.
the transaction ID has a quality contract. Everything is here. Has a grades to string method.
Yeah, I see that. It's implementing operators. What the equals?
And
But
it's
this
read-only.
how would this comparer work? It won't work. The object comparer. Will it? Like, will it work like that? It won't.
Let's see quality control.
Have you seen that?
Default equals.
Sorry. Because it's
It
again
will
it's using the
probably-
default compare for an object.
And default compare for an object, it's probably references. I don't know.
Maybe, probably. Okay. I honestly didn't know this one. But
and it's read only. I mean, this properties you can't change. Yeah, so it's very good for DTOs.
For DTOs, yeah, true.
It's only used here.
I would say with things that have how is it called? I'm missing a word. Like int, string, long, float, like those simple types. Not for complex types, but yeah. Either way, because they then have the compilers, right? And you can implement it by default. So it actually works right away, but it doesn't matter.
And here I created builder. I know you don't like.
I don't like. I don't like the same. I don't like multiple. Like how
interfaces in the same
interfaces,
file.
classes, etc. I would say that they need to be moved to separate files.
I think, and sometimes it's reasonable, in my opinion, but I will not force you to accept this.
I mean, every time,
it's very
every
comfortable
project,
to have.
in every project I worked in my entire career, this was considered a bad practice to put. And basically, basically the explanation was always that it would be hard to search. Maybe now the search works different, but when you're searching in Visual Studio, you're searching through the file names again. Usually, I mean, I am searching by file names. And if you don't have a file name, but you have this interface in a different file, then you are not really able to find it through the file search.
Okay.
What I mean is that
so this. How are you looking for only files, not these types? For example, because if I type Control T, then I can search not only in files but in types are also.
I'm trying to do this
found.
now.
Okay.
I mean, I'm searching here.
Okay, here. And then if you search here, okay, you are on release workflows. I will check if it's because I used Control P. And because I will search for
Because
this
you have
step
ReSharper.
builder. No,
No?
I have Visual Studio without ReSharper. Yeah, I see that. Uh, try the Control P.
Control T is not working for me. I'll tell you,
Okay.
which is weird. Maybe
Yeah,
I
it's weird. Maybe you have different key, short key.
I think, yeah, I would need to check it, but let's not do it now.
Yeah. On a disk. So yeah, if you're looking for a file like this, I will separate it, of course, because
Please do.
I mean it's not like in my opinion so black and white because it's very comfortable.
It never
Sometimes
is.
have
It
it's
never is.
very comfortable has sometimes in one place if we have three classes that are very close to one another. Yes.
But then you can solve it by having a nice folder structure.
Yeah, but you need to open three files at once, and if you have small screen, it's not great.
Always pros and cons.
Yeah.
Always.
Honestly, so never mind. If I will do for you, and I will, I mean, move interfaces to the separate files. No problem.
I checked that you're again using a new keyword here, the init.
Yeah.
So
Init.
yeah, I had to figure because I was always.
It's just private set, but not private set. It's just set, compiled to set, but you can only assign it when you create the.
Yeah,
the
exactly. And I was always
object.
doing it. I was doing it differently to make because how it's called. I'm missing a lot of words lately.
Initialize.
It enforces immutability. Exactly, that's what I was missing.
Yeah, immutability.
So those this object like this object's values won't change, and I've
But
always
there
done it
is-
through the constructor. So when you are creating the object, you passed those values in the constructor, and then you would only have get available outside.
Yes, I also love constructors, but sometimes it's
This way is
it's not clean. I mean, you see what you want to assign in the constructor. If you have a lot of parameters, of course you can use this feature that you can use the name of parameter and then value. But I think for me it's better. It's more readable.
I mean,
And,
definitely, I like this one a lot. This is really cool.
Okay, so in it's not only it's not the new the latest. The required keyword is the latest one in these properties.
But I
And
understood what that means.
Force you
to set it.
And force you to set it, yes, because before it was we didn't have this required keyword, and you can create the object without saying the from or to, and that was not good things because you want to enforce somehow. You can create constructor. yeah, then. But now you don't need to create a constructor. So
But in the end, you could always bypass this by passing null.
no, if you have nullable nullable feature enabled, then you will
Okay.
get a warning.
Smart guy.
So I'm prepared. I'm prepared.
Okay. Smart guy. Okay. Let's go with the next files. Saga model builder.
Maybe it's rather for for tests, but it also can be in different situation usable. Again, move it to separate file. Oh yeah, I know.
That's the same thing, but that's the builder.
Separate
files.
Maybe I will even remove this delegate. I don't know. I mean, or move it somewhere else because I don't know.
You mean this one? Or
yeah,
what?
because for now I only use it for the class delegates model source. Only in testing, maybe it's not a good place. I mean, in this file or in this project, this delegates Saga model source, but it's also
but
it can be here.
But what does it do? I mean, what are we configuring here?
You can. This is model source that enabled you to just pass the model source from Lambda. In the test, for example, you just want to create some test.
This is only used for testing?
Right now, yes. And maybe it should be here, there, not here.
If it's only used for tests, because I was before figuring out what this is even used for, because I was figuring out what is being configured here, and I didn't know that. So if you're saying that this is only for tests, then maybe this should be in the tests.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that it can be used not only in the test, but if it will, then I will move it to the orchestrator project. Right now, maybe it's not needed.
Because I would avoid future proofing. It means that I would avoid as much to prepare for things that might happen in future, but you don't know if they will. Maybe maybe they will never happen. So I wouldn't overthink this. If this is only used for tests, maybe move it, and we can move it again if it's.
I'm pretty sure I used it. But now I'm not using it for. I mean, not only in tests, but now I use only in tests. So I will move it, of course.
Separate file.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I was figuring
out orchestrator.
If we are able to because this is the main flow, basically.
Yes.
What is happening
and
here?
I will, but in the because it's only draft. To be honest, it's not the final implementation because I just want wanted to have something on what I want. I can build a plugin, yeah,
Okay.
because
Okay.
I need I need something to check if it's working. So
Yeah.
it's only, the redirecting implementation
Mhm.
without any Saga store, anything. So if we create the implementation for orchestrator in the future PRs, then I will write a test for it, because now I think it's not important, and if it not it will be changed a lot in the future, so
Okay.
it's only draft.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Mm. So let's resolve it for now. But later on, I would test hot paths like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
And as you can see, we have enumerable iSaga model source, so we can register a lot, multiple model sources. And here, when we creating the Saga orchestrator, we get this and merging into the one model. And maybe
Okay.
it would be great to have a validation if we, for example,
We will.
don't
I mean, the
register.
validation should happen on the moment. Validation would be a part of my job on the
Okay.
parsers. So yeah.
You will do it. Yeah, and then we create a Saga orchestrator with the
builder.
Saga model from the builder. Yes. And solution. So as you can see. Yeah, some mess in the solution.
Yeah, so this is what we were talking about. If you would refresh from develop, I think you would have the fresh changes. Okay,
But it's not refreshed. I mean, maybe
I just pushed. Right, I just pushed my changes, and my changes had the fix, I think.
I mean, there is a good path in my solution, but only this ID is wrong. I mean, different. Maybe it's because I merged differently, and
okay, you will see after you refresh from develop.
But I'm synchronized with developed. I mean, I'm merged.
Now?
So, yeah. Okay, I will check once again, but I'm pretty sure that I merged the developed recently.
But I just merged the pull request, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said about different one. Okay. So no, I will merge this latest develop. Okay, so yeah, you can look into the 9 and just you look into the RabbitMQ projects.
Okay, so
close the orchestrator. Yeah, and here I changed the .NET version because we have.
Okay, so we should go only through those files from here, right?
Yes, and here we have the dependency injection.
Let's prepare my eyes for this. I mean, not that you wrote something wrong. I mean that I see that there is lots of changes here, and it's end of day, and I have troubles on focusing.
Okay, so as you can see, we have this extension use RabbitMQ.
Mm-hmm. So this is again the dependency injections. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, and so it's yeah. And here we have just connection string, and we have some different properties. Like if we want to use the exchange, I of course implemented the RabbitMQ. Oh my god, this option pattern.
Yeah.
Widely
Nice.
used.
Nice.
So yeah, so we have a configure in this first line, configure options. This another one is for without iOptions interface, and I have a ask for you. It's I mean this line 39. It's how to say bad practice. What do you think? Because I don't want iOptions interface. I just want options. And in this orchestrator, if I want to resolve something, I need to.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
I don't want to be dependent of iOptions interface in my orchestrator project. Yeah, so that's I don't want to inject this.
Well, you're right that you should not be dependent. I mean, you should not be dependent on this RabbitMQ in the orchestrator.
Sorry, I said wrong. I mean, I don't want to be dependent on iOptions in RabbitMQ project. That's why I'm injecting not iOptions interfaces in some services, but this plain this object RabbitMQ SAGA options. Yes, I'm injected it into some services, not this iOptions, and I mean it's working, and I don't have any objections, but maybe you have about this way of injecting.
I was always injecting it like iOptions, because it's generic interface, right? So I was always trying to follow what the documentation is saying, and as far as I remember, it said that you should use iOptions, and then where is an example? Because I understand that you're just injecting this, and it's like that.
Let's go to the, for example, maybe channel set at RabbitMQ queues provider, or maybe consumers factory. Consuming. Go to the consuming and implementation. No, maybe higher. We have a serializer, not this one. No, I will
check in the. We have it here. Look, factory.
Connection factory. Yeah. So as you can see here, we have a connection.
So it works, and it's registered like that.
Yeah, it's like the transient. So it will just every time will get value from these iOptions. So maybe it's a little bit hard, but we are not dependent on iOptions.
This is the hack that you are getting the required services here in registering services. So you basically need to register it somewhere here, right? or like before?
Yeah, it's like I mean, configuring it's the regular way, standard way of configuring the I options things, because here in configure we register this RabbitMQ I options, RabbitMQ Saga options. But if we want to inject only RabbitMQ Saga options, then
Yeah, I see.
yeah.
You know what?
Mhm.
That is a hack. I would.
Mhm.
I don't know if I wouldn't just honestly go with injecting the I options the way, because I know that this is a bit different, because we would have C like constructor, and we would have I options.
Yeah, and
And
this I
then
options is
in this
external
one
library, and I want.
we have
Mhm.
option, like you have this your Saga options, which is this particular object, and you would need to do like options dot value or some, I don't know, object or something like that. I don't remember correctly, but something like in this manner, right?
Yes, value.
Okay.
Yeah, but the most important thing, I don't want to be dependent in my RabbitMQ core, because I options is for all, mainly for this Microsoft dependency injection, not for another framework. So I don't want to be dependent on this.
I won't fight over this. Like that's, yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Really, from my perspective, it is a hack. It is, but okay. I don't really mind it.
Mm-hmm.
I would do something, well, similar in out of us. Like I will register an object to be injected. So yeah, it's fine.
Here I check it, if it's dispatched consumer async or sync.
Okay, we have some dependencies here.
Because it's integration test. You see in the integration test, not.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then it's fine.
And this is the fixture that creates the Docker container. And here we have the example how we can use the Prognetic Saga. Add Saga. Defining the add module source and use RabbitMQ.
You mean the RabbitMQ is in the container also, or what?
No. In service collection below.
Okay, you're setting it up here.
47 line. Here we have. And this line is only for this action Saga model builder to register some of the tokens. Some transaction. This is the valid message, so it's the green path. We're starting our system. Okay, and I use the Poly library because it takes some time to be processed by the RabbitMQ. So I request 10 times with the 100 milliseconds interval. It's defined high, yeah, and here you have.
But wait, so there is RabbitMQ started somewhere in the background.
Yes, on the container.
In the container, but
Yes.
Okay, you need to wait, but I wouldn't. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't retry 10 times. Like, we want to send it once and receive it once. So you're saying that it doesn't always work, or what?
Yeah, because if we publishing the message, and if we just getting the message not by the consumer, but just for using the basic get, our message maybe is not processed already because it's still is transported to the container. So we need to wait some time to receive the message, and if it will receive the message, then it will not repeat getting from the RabbitMQ. But message cannot be processed already by RabbitMQ. That's why I'm waiting. I'm retrying. I could use the consumer, but it's not.
Yeah, that's what.
It would be harder.
I understand what you're doing, but like, I'm really not a fan of this solution. I understand why.
Yeah, but I don't see better solution, to be honest.
Because this is an async environment basically, and this is the problem.
But it's container in the local path. This time I said should be okay.
So you're sending the message onto the queue, and then
Yes.
you would like to get the basic get. So there is no client to subscribe to the message, but you would like to check if it's just sent to the queue.
Yes. And on the second try,
but this can what if this is run on slow machine, and with the 10 retries it gives false positives?
You mean if okay, the tests fail, yes, because
the tests fail, but
the message
maybe
in 10 retries.
But maybe it is there later, like
If it happens, we need to inspect, and this is the first. The extending the time interval is the first peak to check for this test, of course. But I think that, of course, there are bad points in this solution, but also it has great value. Because
wouldn't it be better to just subscribe maybe to the message?
Yeah, but you will finish the test, and what next?
Shit. Okay.
You need to wait somehow for this message.
You do. thread sleep.
So we can, for example, mark this test as not obligatory or something like that. I mean, if it's failed, we can still merge it. But first we need to say that.
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Let's leave it. Let's see how it does in the future. If it fails,
Mm-hmm.
then you could add maybe.
Because for now it's worked great. I mean, I saw that in the workers, GitHub workers, it works fast. So.
Okay.
Some other cases. But here we expect that this will be the null because the message is wrong or something. It's wrong, so yeah, it can also, the false positive occur, but the same story as before.
I would mark them then, those tests. But in the end, one would say that those are not good tests if they can fail like that. But
yeah,
from the top of my head, I don't really have an idea on how we could do this differently. What comes to my mind is that we could subscribe, but you're right that we will, as this is an async operation, we will be out of the test already, etc. So I don't have a solution from the top of my head how this can be rewritten somehow. Tough.
Yeah.
Those are unit tests.
I don't know what is wrong with this formatting. I mean, in my Visual Studio it looks okay.
Yeah, I see
but
that
here,
it's off.
Yeah.
Is it like that in all the files?
No, only here. And only those 3 lines corrupted.
Can you figure out why this is off?
Yeah, I will try. And here I checked if the setup is done correctly. The channel received.
But this is a unit test?
Yes, this is the unit test.
Okay.
It's the setup. I'm checking the exchange, yes.
Mhm.
Some interfaces. Here we have keys provider, so selecting the steps of all transaction and creating this model and this is essentially the model that has the properties of the basic co- basic not basic declared queues, the RabbitMQ. Yeah, so it's just the wrapper for this parameters to pass it into the queue declare.
Okay, consumer factory.
Yeah, I know it. Again, two classes in one file.
Yep, I'm not even saying.
One is synchronous, another one is asynchronous. Maybe we should consider the synchronous push method in this case.
This is again off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm leaving to you to move those to another classes. And the naming convention is that async should always be at the end.
In methods, I know, but I don't know what with classes. But
Wouldn't it be the
I
same?
can change it. I don't know. I see in the documentation that add async as the suffix of every async method name you write. So it's about the method, not about the class. But if you want, I can move it to the end.
Okay, we have the client.
Yeah, and this is the client of our orchestrator. Here we have this queue provider we want to queue declare.
Mm-hmm.
If the exchange exists, we want to also bind.
Mm-hmm.
And here we declare the consumers. Oh. I probably see the It's the 91.
So this library will be used
Uh-huh.
together with the orchestrator, and in the client you are basically declaring how the orchestrator will consume the messages from the queue.
Yes, I mean
This
this
is my
client, yes.
this is my understanding, and this
Mm-hmm.
is the
Yeah,
idea.
we gluing everything together.
Mm-hmm. I'm just
Everything.
confirming, because I'm just
Okay.
it's harder when you're not I didn't write
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
and I'm just navigating around what you wrote.
I'm glad you understand it. And this in the 91, it should be done by the SAGA background service, so we shouldn't have this. I mean this subscribing. So you can write a comment here that the subscription SAGA subscriber is set in the SAGA background service.
Is it already?
Okay, I will check.
Shouldn't it be handled via
Or no, maybe in the SAGA.
shouldn't it be handled via some kind of interface?
Check it.
I will leave this
Okay.
question here, because those
Yeah.
no, it's that it doesn't matter what I wanted to say. It's fine. It's fine,
Okay.
because those are handlers of the events, so that's fine.
This is the builder if we don't want to use the dependency injection. We can just use it like that.
Is this one from the Newtonsoft or from
Microsoft?
From Microsoft. Okay, that's fine. Because it's integrated into .NET, right? It's incorporated.
Yes, and it's better than Newtonsoft. The author of the Newtonsoft wrote this one from Microsoft.
Okay.
So.
No, I'm asking because I would keep it as lean as possible. I wouldn't make I wouldn't make it dependent on what we don't really need.
Yes, and I also believe in this, and that's why I made this hack with iOptions.
don't we want to make this async?
I mean, basic publish is sync.
And do we have an async method also or not?
I think we don't have, but I will check. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. We are through. Seems okay. Apart from that, we had a couple nice conversations about figuring out certain things, but I feel like this was productive. I'm a bit tired, so I had some troubles comprehending sometimes what you were saying to me. I hope that this is not so. This is not so visible, but I think we managed. I feel like we will handle off-stream
merging the things.
But also we wanted to discuss the parsers, but we will also, I think, handle it off stream, and then I will start some implementation.
On the next stream we can discuss the parser and the orchestrator, because it's the next part for me. Plugin is, let's say, done. I mean, this first working version, and now we need to focus on the orchestrator. And next thing is the handling receives an event. You see orchestrator receives an event. It is work for the orchestrator, and in this week I will merge the RabbitMQ plugin. I will start with the orchestrator, and I will be prepared with the idea and maybe the implementation for our next stream.
Okay, deal. Let's wrap it up then for today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening or a nice rest of the day, depending on where you are. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, of course.